Economic sanctions. Hi, I'm Dave Arnott, the Christian Economist. I'm beginning today's podcast by citing three books that made the same prediction. First, The Commanding Heights by Jurgen and Stanislav tell the history of economics and politics throughout the entire 20th century. The story begins in 1900 with most of the world enjoying free market capitalism. In mid-century, many countries moved to a more socialist economy. By 2000, they had mostly moved back to free market economies. The book was made into a three-part video series in 2002. When the story closes, they reassure the viewer that the world have established free market capitalism that will probably endure. Then the very last line, in an eerie predictor of the events of the last few days of February 2022. More about that in a minute. The second book, it's called The World is Flat, which you've probably heard of. It's by Thomas Friedman. He makes essentially the same assumption in his book that was published in 2005, that the world has become flat and that individuals trading across the globe will make all of us richer. See, history tells us when one country knocked off its neighbor to extend the border of its victorious country. So in our third book in the introduction today, it's called The End of History and the Last Man by Francis Fukuyama. He observed in 2006 that the world had moved almost exclusively to political democracies and economic free market capitalist systems. Thus, he predicted there would be no more wars because they interrupt economic growth. Mr. Fukuyama did not consider the Christian worldview. See, people are still fallen. And while there was a very nice period of relative peace in the world, war would return. And now it has. Back to that first book I mentioned. In the video version, the voiceover is done by David Ogden Stiers, who my generation remembers as Dr. Winchester in the TV series MASH. With the world safely ensconced in political democracies and economic free market capitalism, in the very last line of the video program, he leans into the microphone and intones, "But who knows what will happen? Come economic hardship or a world war?" Now we know the world did not remain solidly in the free market capitalist category. Russia's invasion of the Ukraine stunned much of the world, but not those of us who understand the Christian worldview. Because when we read The Commanding Heights in 2002, The World is Flat in 2005, and The End of History in 2006, we knew those authors were not looking at the world through the lens of reality. In economics, we call their view normative. That means the way they want the world to be. Christian economists see the world as it is, and that's fallen. In economics, we call that positive economics.